These are some of the last cars you will see parked here in this area in Balboa Park. $10,000. This money is very real, and so is the pain felt by the victim's family. Some lobster divers were the latest to report a sighting. Definitely a heart-pounding moment. The Sheriff's Department has been updating us here outside of their administration building in Kearney Mesa.
An all-bacon wedding. I cannot believe the groom sold this to the bride.
You know what? I'm asking myself the same question, and this is where they start, right? Appetizers, bacon and cheese. We're live here at USD. Got my campuses mixed up. We'll send it back to you. Black Friday is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days away, and already here in San Diego we have our first Black Friday camper. Susan, throughout this case, the Sheriff's Department has been updating us here outside of their administration building in Kearney Mesa. Today, a definite change in mood. With 16-year-old Hannah Anderson safe, finally relief in the voice of San Diego Sheriff Bill Gore.
Pleased to stand here today and say that Hannah was successfully rescued and appears to be in pretty good shape.
In rural Idaho, 1,000 miles from San Diego, Hannah was found with her suspected kidnapper, James DiMaggio. Investigators say they were spotted from the air at a campground in Moorhead Lake. Ground crews with the FBI went in to rescue Hannah and arrest James DiMaggio. Agents say they ended up in a deadly confrontation with DiMaggio, killing him.
But these are the teams that go in whether or not there's negotiation at that time or not. They're trained to handle these kind of situations no matter what transpires during it.
It was last Sunday when officers say DiMaggio burned down his house in eastern San Diego County. The bodies of Hannah's mom and younger brother were found inside. The man, who Hannah considered an uncle, kidnapped her and headed north. Her father sent DiMaggio this message.
You've taken everything. The damage is done. Just let my daughter go. Let her go home safe.
DiMaggio's blue Nissan Versa was found in Idaho Friday. The two were spotted by someone on horseback, giving hope to friends and family back home in San Diego. Her rescue is a prayer answered.
The first thing was we were elated that Hannah appeared to be safe and was rescued and will be reunited with her family in the near future. Obviously, we would like Mr. DiMaggio to surrender and face justice in a court of law, but that's not going to be the case.
As for Hannah, she is now at a hospital in Idaho. It is going to take a lot to put her back together, but tomorrow she will be reunited with her father, her grandparents, and other family members. We're live here in Kearney Mesa. I'm Chris Biele. Susan, back to you. Good evening there, Dan, and good evening to Susan as well. Garnett Avenue is now back open out here after this hours-long investigation on the streets of Pacific Beach. Cell phone video captures the moment an officer fired at the suspect. The officer says the suspect was holding something sharp, a knife or scissors. Instead of putting it down, witnesses say he lunged at the officer. Joey Ortega is visiting from Sacramento.
It's vacation time, you know. And I'm like, really, is this happening? Trying to give my buddy here a good time, you know.
His buddy is the guy who shot the cell phone video.
Damn, he just got shot. He just got shot. Oh, you saw that?
Bobby Roddick sending this message to the officer.
Good job for keeping the streets safe.
That's the suspect down on the ground after getting shot in the stomach. He was taken to the hospital and should recover. Witnesses tell police the guy was walking on Garnett in Pacific Beach with something sharp, even trying to take someone on.
One of our officers, fortunately, was in the area just about a block away and arrived on scene less than 1 minute after the call came in.
The suspect was not any friendlier with the officer. You can hear his commands in this video. The officer says since the guy came at him, he had no choice but to fire.
So we want to protect the public, primarily, protect ourselves at the same time. Ideally, when you give firm commands, you're in a police uniform. We like to expect that people comply to our orders.
The investigation shutting down the main drag in Pacific Beach. Plenty of people walking around, even in the afternoon. San Diego PD is glad their officer wasn't hurt or anyone in the public. Now, charges will come for this guy after his hospital stay. Police will also want to know who he is because when they found him, he did not have a wallet on him. People in the homeless community in this area coming up to us, seeming to think it's one of their friends. We're live here in Pacific Beach. I'm Chris Biele. Now back to you. Well, Kathleen, they are stealing jewelry. They are stealing other valuables like coins. They are also stealing small electronics. And officers here at this station say that these burglars are going about their crimes in all the same ways. What happened on this quiet street seems to be happening a lot lately in Carmel Valley. Is it intimidating at all?
Oh, yeah. Yes, it is.
A house on her street was broken into recently, the 11th since the end of February in Carmel Valley.
So I just keep everything locked up and listen for noises and watch the neighbors and watch out.
The latest one on Berryfield Court played out like the others. The homeowners are gone for just a bit during the day. The burglars use a rock or brick to break a window and steal what they can from homeowners. People living in this neighborhood seem to think the burglars jumped this back wall off a busy street, getting away in a silver Toyota SUV. How do neighbors react?
Everyone was pretty upset. Everyone was shooken up and kind of, a little bit worried and, being protective of their homes. Everyone was kind of a lot more alert.
Apathy is one thing we didn't find on this street. Residents want to beef up security in their homes and form some sort of neighborhood watch group just for their street. They are intent on feeling secure again.
It did make you think, boy, we're a lot more vulnerable. People could come in and break in that easily. It does make you feel like you really have to be a lot more careful.
So far, nobody has been home when these guys break in, but of course, that is what San Diego police are worried about, that there might be some sort of confrontation between the burglars and a homeowner. We're live here in Carmel Valley. Kathleen, back to you. It has been 4 years, and the suspect, he is still out there. The reward for his arrest and conviction is $10,000. This money is very real, and so is the pain felt by the victim's family. For Debbie and Bruce, the 4th of July means more than hot dogs, hamburgers, and barbecues.
Now, since Daniel's passed away, the fireworks mean a little bit of a different thing to us, and it's a celebration of his life.
Their son, Daniel Alexander, was killed on July 4th, 2009. He was going to a friend's house on South Vine Street in Escondido when some guys at a party next door confronted him. Police say 33-year-old Fernando Ramos pulled out a gun and killed Daniel. Gang thing?
It was a gang-related party. We believe that our suspect, Mr. Federico Ramos, is a gang member. Certainly Daniel had no affiliation whatsoever with the gang. He was just an innocent bystander.
For too long, Debbie and Bruce have waited for the arrest of Fernando Ramos. Escondido police say he could be anywhere, but Mexico is a very likely place.
We need to have him brought to justice so that he doesn't destroy another family's life.
We've gone without Daniel now for 4 years, and this guy's still out there somewhere, living his life. I mean, I would appeal to him to, turn yourself in.
As they look to another 4th of July without Daniel, they keep their eyes on the sky.
When the fireworks go off, we look at each spark as a moment of Dan's life. They're up there and they're popping in the sky and they're celebrating Daniel.
Anyone with information is asked to call Crime Stoppers. Kathleen, some lobster divers were the latest to report a sighting. Definitely a heart-pounding moment, and researchers say these encounters are bound to happen. Great white sharks have long been called the king of the sea, feared off the coast of San Diego.
So if I saw one, I'd be really scared.
They have the wall side, and you never know when they turn around and give you that little nip at the legs.
Researchers are intent on learning more about them, hoping to give us a better idea of how to avoid becoming their next meal. Heidi Duer is a marine biologist with the Southwest Fisheries Science Center in La Jolla.
The ocean is wilderness. Anytime you go in wilderness, there are going to be wild animals there, so there's some risk associated with that, and everyone should go into the water knowing that there is some risk.
Off the coast of Southern California, she says white shark sightings aren't uncommon, but they're mostly young great whites.
Ooh. Oh my God, right under the board.
This paddleboarder had a close encounter in Manhattan Beach just recently. The good news is these young great white sharks aren't very aggressive. They aren't yet going after those big seals, so they're not a big threat to humans. The bad news is you're still going to be really scared if you see one, and they do prefer this shallow water.
There's an area off of Oceanside where the continental shelf goes out a bit, and they're there. And then in Mexico, the place where they see the most of them is Vizcaíno Bay, and again, it's a big bay with kind of shallow, sandy areas.
Off the California coast, researchers think the number of great whites could be in the thousands. 2,000 is one number being thrown around, but in Southern California, we don't see any of those large colonies. Most of us want to avoid great white sharks, but there are some people who want to head into the belly of the beast, coming face to face with a great white shark going underwater in a cage like this. San Diego isn't the best place for it, but about 220 miles south, there's the Guadalupe Island. John Conniff with Islander Charter is the guy to get you there.
Bucket list is the term we get a lot.
It's about this time of year Islander Charter is taking weekly trips to Guadalupe Island in Mexico.
You're only about 4 feet under the water, but you might as well be 50 feet under the water once you're there. You can have anywhere from 1 shark to 5 sharks around the boat at a time.
He says perceptions change when we see these creatures in person.
They're definitely king of the ocean for sure, but to actually watch them and watch how cautious they are and watch how much time they devote to inspecting their environment, it definitely takes some of that fear away.
Tourists aren't just heading to Guadalupe Island, but researchers. They're mostly finding males at these major gathering places for great whites, leaving a lot unknown about female great whites. Tagging has given marine biologists some insight, but many of their habits are still being looked into.
You would expect large females to be in the area, but it doesn't seem like we see that many of those large females because this is where they're coming to drop off their pups. So they've got to be around somewhere.
Where they're lurking remains in large part a mystery. They may be there and you don't even know it. Now, some of that mystery, of course, is taken away if you know where the sharks are. There's an app you can download on your phone that offers live tracking of certain great whites. To check it out, head to our website.